Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, the moment we were all expecting has now arrived. In a late-night filing Monday, 30 minutes before the deadline, Donald Trump's attorneys formally asked for his trial in the classified documents case to be postponed indefinitely, citing his 2024 presidential run and his inability to get a fair trial. Trump's team asked Florida District Judge Aileen Cannon to reject the Justice Department's proposed trial start in December. His lawyers argued that putting the ex-president on trial this year would be, and I quote, unreasonable, telling, and would result in a miscarriage of justice. Trump's lawyers cried political persecution in their reasoning before the court. Quote, the court now presides over a prosecution advanced by the administration of a sitting president against his chief political rival, himself a leading candidate for the presidency of the United States. They also asked for the trial to be held after the election to ensure a fair jury and fair trial. We are now expecting the Justice Department, Jack Smith's office, to respond to that indefinite delay request. In fact, Trump's attorneys and federal prosecutors are actually going to meet face-to-face 1 week from today in the first pretrial meeting in the case to discuss the classified material. The trial scheduling issue presumably will come up. But when the sweeping indictment was unsealed last month, remember, Special Counsel Jack Smith made extremely limited remarks, kind of got in, got out. It was the first and only remarks he has publicly made about the case, but he did make sure in that small amount of time to stress the fact that he would seek a speedy trial both for the public and the accused.
It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused.
Now the accused, Donald Trump, is asking to delay that speedy trial, a right he is granted, just like any other criminal defendant in this country. He's not just asking to delay it, he's flat out asking to push it off until after the election. Now, let's take a step back here. We knew this was coming, right? You knew it, I knew it, we all knew it. This was always the plan. It was telegraphed over the last few years by Donald Trump and Trump's associates, as we saw in lots of different reporting from different sources. In fact, the New York Times reported last July, during the height of the January 6th hearings, that Trump had accelerated his planning for office as the pair of federal investigations had intensified. And it was reported last summer that Trump had told associates that the legal protections of being president were front of mind for him in his decision to run for the office again. Donald Trump knew there was a good chance of being indicted in the multitude of investigations he faced, and he hoped that declaring his candidacy would be able to cloak him in a shield of invincibility of political interference and political persecution. And so he did it. That's just what he did. He announced his 2024 run for office on November 15th, 2022, an announcement coming nearly 2 years before the 2024 presidential election. That's early. But the point was to get it in there. I'm now a candidate. You can't touch me. The game plan is clear. It always has been. Delay the trials, who knows how many, win the election, dismiss the case, stay out of prison.
An indefinite delay causes harm. Now, the reason I think he really wants to delay it past the 2024 election is this idea of no trial. What does that mean? What it means is if Trump becomes president, he gets to appoint the new attorney general who could simply dismiss the case altogether. And I think that's the ultimate goal here.
You can see that's exactly what's going on in last night's filing. I mean, think of it this way. Donald Trump is literally running for his freedom. He is running to be president to stay out of prison. Those are the stakes for Donald Trump, and he understands them as such. And the key to achieve that end is to delay as much as possible. In fact, his team has already tried that in fighting this investigation. Remember last summer, after the FBI executed that search warrant on Trump's Florida Beach Club, one of the first things Trump's lawyers did in response was to sue to stop the Justice Department from reviewing the documents it had found, their own documents, government documents. Trump argued the search was politically motivated and asked the judge to appoint a third party to review the seized materials. In other words, that was his effort to delay the investigation, keep the FBI from looking at the evidence in this cockamamie legal theory. And guess what? It worked for a time. Trump's motion was granted by the same judge who is now overseeing his criminal trial, Judge Aileen Cannon, who herself was appointed by none other than Donald Trump, the defendant. She was randomly assigned to the case last month. But back in August, she gave him this completely unprecedented break from normal criminal procedure. Shocking, really. And she agreed to appoint a special counsel or a third party to comb through the trove of documents the FBI had discovered at Mar-a-Lago. And it was consequential. It delayed the Justice Department's access to some of that evidence for a few weeks until an appeals court overturned the decision of Cannon in a scathing, absolutely eviscerating ruling. But here's the thing. In this case, especially, every week matters. This guy, this twice indicted ex-president, he's got to get to the election. It's like a chase movie where he's running from the law. Except what's at stake here is not just Donald Trump's prison time, but our own constitutional integrity. Can we actually hold this man, this powerful man, accountable as if he were any other citizen? And so here we are. We got 16 months on the clock. 16 months away from the 2024 election. Donald Trump has been indicted, in this case, on 37 felony counts. He lucked out and managed to get this same judge who gave him a break last year acceded to his request for delay. And she now has a monumental decision before her, Judge Aileen Cannon. Last time she sided with Trump to the consternation and criticism of just about the entire legal community and the appellate court above her. The question now is, has she learned anything? Will she further collude with Donald Trump's scheme to stay out of prison?